on, you guys? It's Chris, aka the Nerd Dad, and today we are going to break down episode 4 of HBO's The Last of Us. What an incredible episode! A little bit on the shorter side, but still, it was an incredible episode. We are going to be joined with the crew, Semz Nerd, Brodalorian, and the Collectors Outpost. Let's get into it. All right, you guys. So we just finished The Last of Us episode 4. I personally enjoyed the episode. I think IGN gave it an 8. I completely disagree. I think it was a 9. A lot happened in this episode. A lot that a lot of us were talking about was going to happen. But let's just start with Elvis. Elvis, what do you think about episode 4?
I love your completely disagree. You're like, no, it's that much better.
One number makes a difference.
Yeah,
that much.
I think, I've said before that I think every episode's going to be a banger. This was really good, so I'm gonna have to go with you and say 9. It just wasn't as good as the last 3 episodes. I really, really liked it, but I can't call it God tier. I can't give it the 10 just because I do think the last 3 episodes are just a hair better.
John? I know John wasn't the biggest supporter of episode 3. I know that.
Oh, so I've got my own.
Oh, we got to go back and talk about episode 3 then.
I mean, we can. We can do it super quick. I don't mind doing it. I mean, I was.
So my thing with episode 3, before I even get into 4, was I do feel like episode 3 pulled me so far out of the show. You know what I mean? Because it was a different story. It was a side story. Had nothing to do really with, like, they were just like extra characters. Joel and Tess in that show. Now the show itself. Episode 3 was so stinking beautiful. It was filmed amazingly. Everything about it was stunning. I just think that it should not have been part of the series. It should have been its own standalone show. Its own feature, just their story. You know what I mean? And have just let the series been the series. That's just how I feel about episode 3. It just pulled me so far out. And then we got into episode 4, which I don't feel like really brought me back up, to the hype. What I enjoyed about 4 was you're really starting to see Joe and Ellie's relationship really bond. That's what I loved about 4. Was it better than 1 or 2? I don't think so. And 3, I honestly think should have been its own film.
I mean, it's nice we actually got like a full connection of Joel and Ellie. We saw how they're starting to bond, and that was the one thing everyone loved about the game was their bond. I know, episode 3 got a lot of negative because of the route they went, and they were just like, I have nothing against
You mean because
women.
it didn't match the game?
No, I'm reading a lot of stuff.
Nah, bro.
Oh God, why'd I have to? Why? He wasn't. He wasn't gay. I'm like, he was. If you pay attention, yeah.
Totally was.
And they said, why would they show that? I'm like, no, that's if you played the game.
How do you not remember the scene in the game where he finds the nudie magazine?
But that's the part that gave you like that gave it away, right? But the little signs in the beginning, he says, "Oh, he was my partner." Nowadays, partner is what they refer to, and so with the second he said that, I was like, oh. Okay.
A lot of the stuff I heard from 3 was people were just very uncomfortable with the scenes.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, did it show way more than the game? Yeah, because in the game they were insinuating his who he is, and then it wasn't until we saw the nudie magazine you're like, oh, okay, that confirms it. Okay, all right, that makes sense. That's why they just
dug further. They just dug further into their story.
Yeah. Well, now I mean, I'm not going to go into spoiler territory, but if you played the DLC, you know what happens there. And now everyone's predicting that that's going to get a lot of backlash too.
Well,
just snowflakes, bruv. Just get over it, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Druckmann or something, I forget.
Neil Druckmann.
I also think there's also that thing where a lot of people are just very uncomfortable around, for whatever reason, man on man scenes. They're a lot more comfortable with girl on girl scenes for whatever stupid reason. It's the same thing, but in reverse. But I don't know.
Yeah, that's
the way
snowflakes, bro.
The way they did it together. The way they both did it together. I know what's his name? Who played Bill? Nick
Offerman.
Off, yeah.
He was a gangster,
He's
mate.
he's married. He's married to a woman.
Yeah.
But you saw in his eyes, you saw when he was playing the music, just how he felt so alone because he loves men, and everyone's gone, and you felt the pain in his face. You know what I mean? Like he played that role so well that
He's a
it's
great
beautiful.
actor.
It was beautiful, and I was like, man, like I felt his pain, and when he decided to drink the wine that he himself knew had, the medication, that you saw in his face, like he was like, I'm done. I'm ready to go with you.
He's
I'm
complete.
Like I'm getting goosebumps just talking about that.
Dude, the episode and the story, it was poetic and it was absolutely beautiful. It really was. I do just wish it was just its own. I mean, to think about it, if it was its own standalone feature, I think I don't think I would have liked it better because I thought it was phenomenal. I think it would have stood stronger just on its own and not have pulled you out, so far out of the story that was going on.
I will say the one thing about episode 3 I did not like, and this is me and Elvis talked about this, because they went so far away from the game. There's so much opportunity of the interactions between Bill and Ellie from the show that we got from the game that we were not gonna. What was it? He goes, "Was that your plan B? That was plan A, B, and C, and all the way to fucking Z."
Yeah.
Like that was, you know what I mean? Like that was an amazing line in the game.
Yeah.
Oh, and he goes, "You watch it, you little shit." She goes, and he, like their dialogue was so good.
She just knocked something over.
Yeah, it was so good.
You see what you're talking about, like right there, and this is what I thought they could have done. All of that could have been part of the series, right? They could have been it could have been episode 3. That could have been episode 3. Their little stories, Ellie and Joel are in it. They could have been part of that show, and then you could have learned more about them with their own standalone feature. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because now we've lost all of that storyline with all of them.
So I have a couple thoughts on that, if I can cheer for a sec. So I understand what you're saying, and I hear you. I miss the interactions of Ellie and Bill. I thought that was a big miss, but I think it really works. And the reason I think that, and I also agree, it could have been a standalone. They could have been a movie, dude. Like it was that good.
Well, it basically was. It was like an hour and a half, wasn't it?
Well, it was an hour or something, but there's like a little bit that kind of cut it to an hour. But I was also doing some research online that there is a 2-hour cut of that entire episode. So there is an additional 30 to 40 minutes that we didn't see that could be added sometime in the future that we didn't see. Whether it's going to be them laying in bed together before it's time for them to go. I don't know. There's a lot. Like, would I want to see it? Oh, 100%. I'd love to see it.
Lying in bed, dead, bruv, just like that.
I want to see him in bed. I
Never
just want to
show
see him dead.
Yeah,
Semz.
it's better they didn't show him, bruv. Like, I mean,
How'd
it's
you like
funny
it?
Episode 3 was 10, bruv. I still think episode 3 is the best episode. Structurally, the best one. At the end of the day, like, if something makes me tear up, it's got to be doing some sick stuff. Because I'm not the type of guy to just start crying over nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I got emotional bit in episode 1 with his daughter getting blasted down. But this was like, I was like, nah, bro. That's not my new favorite line. I'm satisfied and I'm old. Like that now is for anything that I say in anything. Like, have I had enough food? I'm satisfied and old, and then I'm just walking off, bro. Like that is my favorite line ever, man. Episode 4, I gave 9. I think it's the weakest episode, but I gave all the other ones 10. So saying it's the weakest episode sounds like way worse than what it is. And it was the shortest episode as well. I reckon. Yeah, I think it was a good episode though, boy. Like I don't want to say like my favorite bit. We'll talk about that in a minute, but it was a very, 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 very good episode, man.
I feel like episode 4, we definitely saw the scope of how much they put into, like money wise, sets,
balling.
Just man, like let me see if I can show you guys this one.
Just the world creation around them.
Yeah. I was like, did they? So from what I saw, they shot this in Calgary. Was what I was reading, and so I'm curious to know how they did all this.
Hey, as you're pulling that up, I see you kind of messing with stuff. I just wanted to get this thought out there real quick on episode 3 before we move on, because I need to say it. I think in the game and me and Chris talked about that, in the game, when you leave Bill, what is Bill's story? He was just another chapter for Joel. Bill didn't matter. He was just a crotchety old guy. You got a truck from him, and you left him, and we have no idea what happened to Bill.
We have a conclusion.
This gave
his
you
story.
closure to Bill.
Yeah. I completely agree with you.
This.
That's so
Oh,
cool.
this is oh my god.
This is
Dude,
wild.
I saw this scene. I was looking at that shot. I'm like, you know, and just coming from like the technical, you know, behind the scenes thing, I'm like, God, was that real? Did they recreate it? Did they just take the shot? Did they digitally enhance all and put everything in? And like, was that a real shot or was it all computer?
And there's more. I honestly, it was so hard for me to get screenshots because I had to literally go to other videos and find it. But I mean, that's just one example.
No, it's a split second. It's on camera as well. It's on like 3 to 5 seconds, and it's the next shot. And you know that's a big budget shot, boy.
Think about parts of the game where you have to like swim through a bus underwater and stuff. Like it kind of matches up. With that.
One thing about episode 3 that connects to episode 4 was Bill saying this isn't an Arby's.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right? You remember, you know, and he mentioned it wasn't, you know, wasn't free food. Did you notice this when they're driving?
Yeah.
So when they're driving, you see the Arby's, and what's funny about this was Arby's actually participated and did this. So that's a real Arby's restaurant, and they did that. Yeah,
that is fantastic. Where is that?
Not a restaurant.
I'm not sure. I saw this all. I was watching it online, finding stuff online last night before I went to bed, and I saw it.
That's when you know, like the company's good when you got awareness, bruv. When you have awareness like that, it's pretty sick, though.
And they put like the grass up on it and everything. That's cool.
We did get one major cameo out of episode 4. I don't know if you guys noticed it. Elvis and I, we spoke about it last night for a little bit, and it's this gentleman, Perry.
Oh yeah, the guy I called the Call of Duty skin. Yeah, him.
You know who he is, right?
That bruv.
He played the voice of Tommy in the video game.
Really?
Oh, did
He is Joel's brother in the video game.
That's
So
very
cool.
so he came back to play the voice of Tommy, and the second I heard his voice, I'm like, that's Tommy.
I don't know how you clocked that out, man. Like,
oh, dude,
I didn't think that.
It's
man.
so hard for me to enjoy some of these episodes because I'm trying to find something in there, and I know that there are certain actors who played a part in the game who's also in the show. So it took me a while to actually find some, and I was like, okay, that one's that. Finding the right
when we first met Kathleen, I thought, oh, is that the voice of Ellie? I don't know. I'm not sure. Like I kind of had to listen for a while, but I was like, nah, I don't know if it is.
Well, it's funny you say that because I was going to save this for later. Semz.
Yo.
This is your John that you did not want. You said you want random character to come in.
Like, you know, when she came on, yeah, and I cut it out of my reaction so no one will ever see it. I was like, who the fuck is this cat, bruv? Like, I was like, who's this fucking random chatting to some doctor in a box, bruv? I was like, who's this? Like, I was like, what's going on, man?
She was talking with the doctor. I was thinking about you, Simon.
Immediately.
It's coming. You knew it's coming.
I was sitting there giggling, and my girlfriend just goes, "What's so funny?" I'm like, "No, just I can't even talk about it."
So bad, bro. It's so bad.
So
It's so bad.
we're gonna put her in that John category. Which who is this person? But do you think it made sense for her to be in there? Because in the game, we just saw people hunting what they call tourist, right? Did we need to have a character to be the face of these group of people to why they were killing all these people, you know, killing all these tourists? So, in the episode, she says, where's Henry? Where's Henry? So she has a vendetta. He did something, right? Which would kind of coordinate in the game why they were so adamant about killing every single tourist or finding every single tourist they could, because she did have an agenda.
I think you need someone just to like be the leader of a group of people, because like the casual like in the game it's like the hunters, they're the hunters, and then that's it. But it's like you need some sort of structure, bruv. Like you're gonna have people arguing and fighting. So I'm fine with John, bruv. Her name is John, bruv. I don't care if it's Catherine, Katharina. I already forgotten it, and I don't want to know what it is, bruv. Yeah, John. I'm fine with John being the leader. Just don't give me too much, John. Just little bits, and I'm like, okay, cool. We'll let it slide. You know what I mean?
John, what do you think about John?
All I see is just her past shows that she was on, and I just can't. I just
Yeah,
for
my
whatever
wife's
reason,
like, "That's the girl with the baby in the bar from
Oh
Sweet Home
no,
Alabama."
that's so bad. If that happens, you're finished.
I had a hard time like just buying her for a couple of things just because like you typecast certain things in your head and certain people should only be superheroes and certain people should only be like stupid funny comedians. She came on this. I'm like, I can't take this serious right now. I don't know.
Elvis, what do you think about John?
So I can't call her John because when her name was Kathleen, all I could think of Kathleen Kennedy. I was like, I don't like you already. But anyway,
Wait, what was her show? What was the name in the show?
That's
Kathleen.
how you know she sucked, bro. You don't know her name,
Oh,
brother.
Kathleen was the okay.
When she was talking to the doctor and he was like, "I'm your doctor. I held you as a baby." Blah blah blah. And then she ended up shooting him, and she's wearing this big heavy jacket. I'm like, she's pregnant and she's gonna need a doctor. I think this moment's bigger than we realize because it seems like she's hiding something with the big heavy jacket. Like it was really big on her. Like I wonder if she's pregnant. But anyway, I was okay with it, and as I was watching the show with my wife, I was like, we didn't meet any of these people. It was just, well, as Neil put at the end in the credit scene or whatever, he said we were trying to personify it. This was just a barrier, just an objective you had to get through, just something that you had to deal with in the game. And we wanted to personify this city, these people, which I think was what, Pittsburgh or Philly or something in the game, but they changed it. But anyway, they needed to make this people something. And in the game, if you read every little letter and note that you find throughout the game, you realize that this is a city where Fedra was very Nazi-ish, and they didn't provide the rations to people that they needed to because they were keeping it for themselves. So the people uprose and took over the city and took out Fedra. So I know all this from reading every little note in the game, but that's hours of gameplay. How do you do it in a 40-minute episode? You give a leader to it who can speak and tell the story, right? So I think they needed someone to kind of tell you who the hunters are and why they are. And the easiest way to do that was with a person. So I think it works, even though we got a John. We got a new character that wasn't in the game. So I'm okay with it. Character, we'll see. She doesn't seem as strong as the people make her out to be, like this important badass leader. She didn't feel that strong to me, even though she walked up to the doctor and was like, done. Like when what we think might be a bloater in the ground or whatever, like even when she's like, just let's worry about the problem at hand, she just didn't seem that strong to me. But again, what if she is pregnant? What if that is her doctor? What if she does need him and she maybe we're going to find a moment in the next show. I feel like there's something bigger that's going to happen, but I don't know. At the moment, I still felt she was kind of weak.
Definitely weak, bro.
How'd you guys feel about the change from Pittsburgh to Kansas City?
Don't ask me that, bro. Like it's all the same.
It makes sense
like,
going
yeah,
west.
you know what I mean,
It's really, they made it a very long way. Boston's here, and then you have Pittsburgh
what do you mean?
right
Explain, bruv. I got an E in geography, fam. So from where they started.
Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find one.
Philadelphia is not that far
I
from
mean,
Boston.
you look from Boston. It's like, let's see. So Philly is an hour and a half from me, and Boston is 6 hours from me.
Yeah, and they made
So
it
you're
to
looking at
Kansas City, so this is
a
more
day's
like
drive.
25 hours, a couple days.
Okay, so it's like plausible, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah.
Right, okay.
You could pull it off.
All right,
And that's my
let's see.
point. I'm saying if you're heading west, this city makes more sense. Like,
Yeah, I mean, from me to Florida to Orlando is, I think, 16 hours. So you could totally do that.
Mm.
and they kind of talked about that drive time in the show too, when they said the gas is breaking down, so that goes a lot faster.
Oh crap, my thing's going low again. My quality dropped, right?
I can't see anything, bro.
Yeah.
Seem okay.
I don't know what's doing that again. Obviously, you think it's because we're sharing two things?
I don't think so. You look fine to me.
What is it? Can you lot see a picture? I can't see anything. Just the wallpaper on it.
I see a map
Oh,
of the
yeah, I
United
can't
States.
see jack shit, bro.
Strange. Let me see again. Still?
I see
I don't
anything,
see
bro.
anything.
What is going on?
I'll
Well-
take your word for it. It's doable.
I did have a map, and you could see that there is. Wait, let's try this. Open now. Nope. It's every time I open a new window is when it
Something's loading. Oh,
drops.
no, I don't see anything, brother.
Yeah,
Well,
it
I guess we're
stopped
not doing
again.
that. Never mind. But it's pretty. They made it quite a ways, just for that. This comparison from the game and the show with the magazine.
I don't see jack F. I'm just letting you know, bruv. I don't
just do
see
this.
anything, bro.
I don't know why he's
Yeah,
doing that. It's
the-
just not working.
The nudie magazine.
The bloater. I'm pretty sure the bloater. That's what's going to be
It's got to be in it.
at 100%. That's what's going to be. I mean,
Can't-
even
like,
in the
logically,
trailer
can't
it
be
showed.
anything else, can it?
Yeah, I actually thought we were going to see that
Mm.
on this episode because we didn't get any clickers, nothing. So I thought they were going to end the episode with that kind of coming through.
Mm.
Yeah, I have some thoughts or theories, but I don't want to spoil. I think
Yeah.
it's going to be different than how it went down in the game. But to talk about that, and then I'm
Mhm.
possibly spoiling something.
Can we all just like take a minute of respect for her 9,000 IQ plan? Lock the door. the ground is moving. Yeah, lock the door, bruv. Don't worry about it. Sick. Then that goes back to what I was saying. Like, I can't see her. No disrespect. From the limited screen time I've seen, I can't see her running these people that look like actual killers,
Yeah.
bruv. Like, it doesn't. Thingy,
Well,
like,
I
you know what
think
mean?
they tried to show you her power when she went into the room and shot the doctor.
Banged him out.
I think I think what they were trying to do there is kind of solidify her not hesitating to do anything. She will just kill you at the drop of a dime if she wanted to. I think that's what they were trying to push out in
I
that
agree. I
one
just don't know if
shot.
it worked.
Nah.
She gave me
Yeah,
like wannabe
I'm with
Negan
you.
vibes. Negan from
Yeah, yeah.
like a
Yeah,
wannabe,
fake.
but you know.
It's just fake. Bruv.
Yeah.
She's just faking it, which is good because it might be later on you see like she's really like not cut up for this shit, bruv. I think that actually might
Yeah,
work
maybe.
well, but I don't. I just can't get over lock the door, bruv. I was just like, come on.
That's the thing that kind of like drove me crazy. I'm like, you
It's so
see
bad.
the ground is
Yeah, it's moving,
moving. You're not hearing like it's moving. You should probably lock the door and take care of that now. She said, we'll take care of that later. And if I was Perry, I'm like, no, let's do this now because we don't know what's down there. You know, and
I
in
think
the
lock
episode,
door part though is to keep her people out from finding it, so no one else has
Yeah.
to worry about it.
I
right
don't
now.
know, bro. I don't
So-
know.
I mean, you're probably right. Just keep everybody out, and then we'll deal with it later. I don't know. That was funny.
But then she said,
I wish they would have put like
away.
caution tape up.
Yeah.
it would have been cool if she would have done something in the game where she says, "Don't open the door, infected inside."
Mm.
Because remember when they were getting out of a certain room, and it said that would have been kind of a throwback to the game. But one thing we learned
I
about the
think they
game,
could still do that.
yeah, I think they could. One thing they could have done in the show they did for the game. Oh, that's how I brain fart. Yeah, I did. Yep, brain fart.
Your face.
It's
You know
gone.
why?
It's gone now.
Because you can't get over lock the fucking door, bruv. That is so bad. Like it is. That is, I think, the worst line of the show so far. Like, it's not like terrible, but actually it is fucking awful. It's really, really bad.
I'm probably not going to remember it. But one thing I did catch with her was you did see a little bit of humanity in her face when they walked in that room. They saw the food and they did see the pictures drawn by Sam. So the idea is she's looking for Henry because something about her brother. Essentially, he betrayed her or something happened. And so you saw her motivation to go in there and try and find him and kill him. And then her face changes when she saw the pictures. And she was like, essentially, he's protecting his brother like she would protect her brother, but even though he gave away her brother for something that we don't know about. And then all of a sudden her eye, she just changed to where she's like, no, screw that. And she just got rid of the picture.
Yeah.
So in
I
that
hope we
moment,
find
you
out
saw a
more.
change for a second, but then all of a sudden she went back to being her Negan style John.
Do you think? Yeah, that. Do you know what? I was thinking that at some point. I was like, yeah, all she needs is the bat, bruv, and like a few little lines, and then yeah, that would be.
Yeah, we need to get you a maniacal weapon just to make
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I miss Negan.
She's gonna have to
I'm
work on
sorry,
her. She's gonna have to work on her Negan because Negan was creepy.
He was.
Oh man, he
Bro, he was.
Man,
so
He was pretty cool.
I hated him so much, but as a character, but in a good way. Exactly what I wanted out of a character. Like you don't like him, right?
But then you
she didn't
turn
give it
out
to
to
me.
love him at the end.
Yeah, but she didn't give it. She didn't give that to me.
No.
At all. Not at all.
When you were talking about humanizing a second ago, it made me think about the scene where Ellie shoots the hunter, and then
Oh yeah.
and then Joel's like, well, and then she goes and leaves so that Joel can do it without her watching. That is so different from the game, but so good. Like there's this moment in the game where Ellie's like, "I just shot the hell out of that guy, didn't I?" And it's very.
Oh, that's right. Was that scene?
Yep, that's supposed to be
Yeah.
that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the hunter has Joel's head underwater and he's drowning him, and Ellie picks up Joel's gun and shoots the hunter in the head, kills him. And so, one, he wasn't underwater. Two, it wasn't right away after running into the laundromat. Three, Ellie kind of makes a almost comical, "I just shot the hell out of that guy, didn't I?" It's like
Yeah.
kind of a funny shock. And it was all completely different in the show. Runtime, I think it totally makes sense. But the way that the guy screamed out for his mother and stuff, I was like, oh man, they're really
That's too
making
much,
you
bro.
feel
Let me
this
tell
moment.
you, that scene. I don't think I've seen so much terror and fear in an actor's like. Just
I
just
know.
what they're
It's like, we can
doing.
be friends. Here, I'm putting my knife down. We can make this
Oh
right.
my
I'm like,
God.
yeah.
Like absolute terror and fear. It was amazing.
You
When he
normally
said,
don't
like,
get
I
that
can't
from a
feel
bad
my
guy.
legs. Did he say I can't feel my legs or I can't get up? And I was
Yeah,
like,
because I think she
too
shot
much.
him in the back, right? She
Yeah,
shot him in the
that
back
was-
and,
yeah, I
and
think she
severed
shot him
something.
in the spinal cord.
Bro. That's
So
so
the
bad.
one thing about that scene too, Elvis, that you made a good point was, he said, "Get back in the hole, get back in the hole," and she had a tear, but
Yeah,
she
the
immediately
part I really wanna
she
talk about.
immediately wiped it off.
Yeah.
And I think at that moment, Ellie feels like it doesn't bother me as much, in a way, because like you see.
It's the
The-
same
the-
moment as Joel throwing
Yeah,
the
yeah,
film
exactly. There's moments of Joel when you see he's like about to attack someone, and he does, and you can just see he's upset for a second, and then he just goes,
back to dead
"All right,
side.
let's just go back to survival." And the fact that she was able to do it so fast, I think that's what she realized at that moment. She was like, wiped her tears, and she's like, "I'm good." So
Yeah.
that's another part of the episode. We start seeing connection between these two characters.
They're
where it's
very
like,
alike. Yeah.
you guys are way more alike than you guys actually think. I do like the puns that they're adding the puns like in the game.
Yeah.
The exact same jokes.
The
too.
exact same ones. They're adding all the same one. The diarrhea one got me.
That was
I
too
especially
funny,
love the smile on Pedro's face.
Like we all know, with Pedro, his resume of characters that he's played and how good he is as an actor, right? There's
He wasn't
no way
acting.
he was acting. That laugh was
Nah, that
legit.
was genuine, bro. Like
That was a
he's not
genuine
holding
laugh. Like there is
Especially
no
with him
way.
hosting Saturday Night Live, and he broke so many times in the show where he just started laughing.
And it's I was gonna save that for later. I would not see Pedro Pascal the same ever again
back.
because of the characters that he played in the show,
He
the
is
way-
fantastic.
the way he cracked. And then it's funny because I saw the episode the other night because Elvis brought it up. I was like, oh damn, it's on. I'll watch it. And then we watched last night's episode, and I'm just sitting there the entire time like,
Yeah, that's a real.
I
smile
can't
right
take you
there.
so
I know
serious.
it.
And I wish I was eating a steak at that moment, just trying to cut it, and the table's just shaking like in the show. And he's just laughing and trying to hold it in. I'm just like, man. So when he's laughing in that scene with Ellie, I was like, that's a real laugh. He's not acting. That's a real laugh because that's exactly how he cracked on
Well,
Saturday
they
Night
keep
Live.
saying how they kept screwing up all the shots, and the two of them were just joking and laughing most of the time. That it was hard for the crew to keep getting shots. I would not be surprised if that was one of the shots where they just said, "Heck with it, leave it
Keep
in."
it. Keep
Yeah.
it. Keep it.
Yeah.
It's
It was
genuine.
great.
It's genuine.
Yeah.
We did see Sam and Henry for about 3 seconds.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
different introduction to these characters than it was in the game. Obviously, in the game,
Look a little different.
yeah, they were running away from the truck that was shooting at them,
Mhm.
and climbing into the game. Joel climbs into the apartment. Henry grabs him. Joel flips him over, starts punching him, and then that's when Ellie says, "Joel," and that's when you see Sam holding the gun. Now it's both of them holding them at gunpoint.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that change, or do you feel like it still works?
It's pretty similar. I'm okay
Mm.
with it. I mean, and I like the fact that they're up away from danger. Yeah, I think it works.
A lot of that action stuff they've taken out, and they put it with like quieter scenes. I noticed, but then I like the
Next
theme
episode's
of like
gonna be all action. I bet.
it could be
Yeah,
insane.
and I'm
bruv.
hoping so because there's
Yeah.
a lot, and that's the great thing about this episode. It was slower. It was a shorter episode, but I'm okay with having a slower episode to lead up to the part 2 of that episode, just to be a complete banger. It's like, oh, okay, all chaos
Yeah.
is going. It's getting bad.
Yeah. What do we have? 4.
5, bro.
How many episodes are going to be in this?
9.
5 left.
9 total. Yeah. So
No,
we're
we have 5 left. Yeah.
we're about halfway now. And I think we talked about this in the first episode that we did together. Was there are reports that people wish there were more clickers and more infected. So are we? And it's funny because I'm like, yeah, we haven't seen that many. Unless this is the episode
I do think
that
somewhere. I think somewhere we're going to start getting really involved with more of the bloaters and the clickers because now
Yeah.
we've seen almost everybody from well, except for his brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now I think we're getting about halfway where the story, like should be like where the arc of the story is starting to come in now. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be episode 5, for next week. And you said it was Friday?
yeah, it comes out Friday.
Yeah.
Friday,
So I think
yeah.
we're starting to get into that arc now.
To your comment about seeing more clickers, I was talking to someone at work who's a real heavy gamer, and I said, oh, I just got a PS5 for the first time, and I just played Last of Us, loved it, thought it was so great. And he's like, yeah. I mean, if you like story-based games, you might want to check out this, and this. And I mean, he kind of almost immediately discounted it. It was like, it's a story-based game. And when you think about that, the clickers, the bloaters, the stalkers, I really hate the stalkers, they all just become a certain strategy to you. So when you get to the bloater, you got to hit them with the Molotov cocktail and then use the shotgun. Like you know how to, once you take out one bloater, you run into a few throughout the game, and you know how to kill each one. The challenge in the clicker, the zombies, isn't really there throughout the whole game. It's like one challenge, you figure it out, now you know the rest. One challenge, you figure it out, you know the rest. So it really is a story-based game, and halfway through the game, the clickers almost just kind of become the henchmen, so to speak, in the game that you're just killing and moving forward. You're really trying to get through the story. That's the goal of the game, is to get through the story. So if you think about the game that way, then the show really makes sense to not overuse the clickers. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just making that correlation. So I think it's okay that we're not seeing it every episode. I do want to see a little more, just because I think it's sick and it's cool to see, but I don't think it needs it for the story. You know what I mean?
Before we continue, can we talk about John's mug? That was a big mug, sir.
Bro, you got a pint of milk in there, fam.
That is a big mug for sure.
I think one thing about the show that I think it really tells, for us playing the game, we dealt with clickers, we dealt with infected, we dealt with humans, but anyone who never played the game shows you that's not your only enemy or infected. You're going to deal with a bunch of people from different sides of the US or around the world. Everyone's different. The way our day-to-day between Vegas to New York to Houston to UK, we're all different. We do things similar but different, right? So you're going to deal with a bunch of different people. So when it comes to clickers and the infected, you're dealing with what, 4 different ones: runners, clickers, stalkers. You know what I mean? So 3 to 4 different types of infected, but you're dealing with so many different types of people that you don't know who you're going to get from Maryland to Colorado, you don't know what kind of person you're going to deal with. So your enemy count and the way they're going to react with you being there is going to be extremely different. So I think that's something Ellie's seeing now. She's like, damn, like these people are crazy. And I think as long as we go with the game, which I saw some screenshots, there are some characters from the game, like episode 7, maybe 6. We're going to be introduced to a very weird person.
Yeah. I'm looking most forward to that.
Me too.
And thinking back on this now, because we made a couple remarks about Negan earlier. If you think back to The Walking Dead, would you ever really consider zombies the enemy?
Nah, bruv.
Yeah.
No.
That's why the game, like, for me, is so good, because I don't really care about the zombies, bruv. Like, the Last of Us is called The Last of Us. It's not called The Clickers. It's called The Last of Us, bro. For me, it's all about how shit people are.
Yeah.
That's what the movie, the game is. How bad everyone is. Everyone is so bad, like in all different ways. Like episode, I said to you, lot, I know John wasn't there, but in episode 1, the guy's like, "There's worse things than infected. There's slavers and all this." I want to see them, bruv. That's what I want to see. I want to see like some proper mental. Like, people.
You know what? One of the biggest, when I watch like things like Walking Dead, and now that I've played Last of Us and watching this show, you do realize what we've just recently gone through with the pandemic and things that happened in that 4-year window of Trump being president. We've seen people turn on each other. We've seen, what was it, that chunk of Washington that was all taken over by the people, and they wouldn't let any police take it. It was like blocks and blocks and blocks of things. We've seen DC get raided by thousands of people. Sometimes you got to sit back and ask, is it us? Are we truly gonna do this if something like this happens? And then the pandemic kicks in. I'm like, oh my God, like Walking Dead is about to start to happen, like right now. You know what I mean? And people are just gonna start turning. It's just a little weird to see a glimpse of things like Walking Dead and Last of Us truly happen in real life, because you can see that if we did get to a point like that, I think our worst enemies are going to be us, and it's sad.
Absolutely.
I mean, we saw
humanity is going to be its own downfall.
We saw when they got to Kansas City, Ellie says, "Is that the QZ?" It was non-existent. And so these people that Miss Kathleen is essentially running, or John, that's the rebellion.
John Lean. Go with John.
John Lean.
John Lean. Yeah.
That's the rebellion against Fedra. They kicked Fedra out, and now they're living the way they want to live.
Right.
And so again, you see how people can change. You literally went from Boston.
And that's kind of what happened in Washington. They threw out the police. They did their own thing. It's scary. It's really scary to see a little bit of that in our own life.
And okay, so
Sam's is sitting here. You Americans are crazy.
You lot are fucking.
Oh no, we're messed up.
Yeah.
I'm piecing a couple of things together in my head here, but so John just said, I think we're hitting the arc of the story, and I remember we were talking about in the first episode that this whole story is really about a loss of humanity, right? Just humanity is gone, and the answer to that is love. Stories like. I almost said Ron, Bill and Frank. These stories of love is what will ultimately help us, have a hope left for humanity. And Ellie says it in the car as they're driving by something, I forget, but she says, "If you really don't think there's any hope for humanity, then why do you even go on? Are you really that dead inside? There has to be a hope for humanity." And her kind of being the hope for humanity, saying that, I think is kind of funny, but yeah,
I think that's what keeps Joel going now. You know what I mean? It was like you see the relationship changing already. Yeah, and you see the relationship changing right away, and it's kind of like that's the only reason why he's still going.
He's had back-to-back stinkers, mate. Tess, Bill. He's having a shit time right now, boy. When he says like your cargo, I felt that one. I was like, oh, that's so deep.
Yeah.
Like, she felt that in it, but
I think love is keeping him going, but I don't know if he knows it. Like right now,
not yet.
Not yet.
I think he's discovering it.
When
I
it's
think he'll
kind of
realize that
done.
in episode 7. That's when he knows. He's like, damn. Yeah.
Well,
Oh, that's a long way.
we know what
forward, bruv.
happens.
We
nah,
know
nah.
what happens,
Maybe
but I think that's the moment
by
he's gonna be
6.
like, yeah.
I would say by 6, he's gonna tell her like how much she means to me, like some little like Joel way. My favorite bit of the episode, I'm just throwing it out, teaching her how to hold the pistol, man, because you know that's his way of saying sorry. That's his way of saying, all right, you're cool, bro. Like he can't even say fucking sorry, bro. So he's like, cool, I'm gonna do something for you. And that was like the best thing for me, man. Seeing, teaching her how to hold the pistol properly and that, too sick.
In that moment when he was teaching her, I thought we were gonna get something that we didn't get, and I don't think we're gonna get it, so I don't think it's a spoiler. But in the game, when he teaches her how to shoot, he says, it was him or me back there, and she's like, yeah, I know. And he leaves, and Ellie says, yeah, you're welcome. Like, I really like that line in the game. He didn't say thank you, but she was like, you're welcome. Like, yeah, I missed that. I wish they would have incorporated that somehow.
In the game, there's that moment where Joel has to, scale scaffolding, and he has Ellie on top with a rifle, and he explains to her, hold the rifle. And I felt like that was the moment, seeing how she's holding it.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted her to be like, she goes, I know how to do this. And he goes, I shot a bunch of the QZ. He goes, what do you mean? With a BB. With a BB gun, And so, like, I kind of wanted that to happen. And I think she's going to hold a rifle in episode 5.
Next episode.
Yeah, something's going to happen to where she's either at a distance or up above to where she's going to start shooting.
Yeah.
Because you have a whole city or town versus 4 people. Something's got to happen.
When it's the game, it's no problem, bro. Just headshot.
Exactly.
It's easy, like.
4 people in the game versus 20 people, easy.
Oh yeah, easy.
In the game, something's gonna happen to where they have to coordinate something, and you have that bulldozer truck, which was great in the game. Also says "run" in the front, just like it does. So that's a cool nod to the game. But obviously, I think this is. I don't think there's gonna be any similarities with the game in the show. I think they're gonna do something different. Because in the game, it was always sneak around, grab, stab, sneak
they
around.
They might do it. They
choke.
might, because there's a lot of people, bro. There's a lot of people, man. So like, I don't know. You got to balance it. Like they've already established. Joe ain't that great. I mean, he's been like battered around a few times already. So like, which is good, because if he was like how we played with the game, he'd be the Terminator, and it'd be literally he could just walk the whole way there because he's unkillable. I'm glad they've like lowered his thing down. But can I just throw something out there, random? Yeah, I see a few people leave this on my videos, yeah, and I kind of agree with it, and it bounces off what Elvis said about Ellie with her sarcasm's kind of gone, kind of thing. It feels like for me, and I agree. They've put 20% on like Joel up, and they've like taken Ellie 20% down. Because when I saw the side by side bits of like IGN in the car, when they find the magazine and she gives Joel the tape and all that shit, yeah, it's like he's way more jokey in the game, but in the car he's like well serious still. And like in reverse, there's no sarcasm. When she shoots that guy, she's wiping her face, she's crying, like she don't want to see it. Like I think they've done that, so when they come back down to level, it's gonna feel
you see the growth. Then
you'll really see the difference in it,
which is funny too, because remember we talked about the first 2 episodes, we're talking about Ellie, like she's doing too much, like she's doing more than she did in the game. Like why is she acting like she's going just being too much? And now we notice in the past 2 episodes, or I guess you can say episode and a half, they've scaled her down.
There's another moment too, when they camp in the woods. Big badass Ellie needed reassurance from Joel. No one's gonna find us, right?
Yeah. Still a kid, bro.
And then she goes to sleep. Like she that was a little moment of, oh, little badass needs to hear, yeah, you'll be fine, like from daddy. Like
there is something in the episode I could not find a screenshot, and it doesn't even matter because I don't know why it's not even working. Was Ellie going through the hole, and Joel says, Ellie, I can't get through. I can't get the door. So she grabs the desk and starts pulling it, and then Joel pushes the door. I was like, that's in the game. That was in the game. And I was just like, oh, I love it. I was like, I actually did that from the game. There's moments they had to push together, or like the the doors he had to pull and he had to hold it.
Mhm.
Those moments, I was like, that was it.
And the
That's what I
coffee
wanted.
conversation, that's kind of an Easter egg too, because
Yep, because he talks about and that was in Philly. That was
Mhm.
that was the little right before he uses like the pallet to have her float and he goes in.
Mhm.
I want to see a pallet scene. I want to see a flood and then he uses a
Yeah.
pallet and he has a
Yeah.
pusher.
Well,
You know,
I
something like a
Yeah,
little nod to the game. I do want to
Mm.
see that. You know, obviously she says she can't swim,
Mhm.
so that's something I kind of want to see. It's like little things in each episode. I feel like we're getting like, oh, that was in the game,
I think
but they're
they'll
not overdoing
abandon
it, which is nice. I like they're not overdoing it, but sometimes a small piece of me, like, I just want to see.
Yeah, don't
little
overdo
bit.
the fan service.
Yeah.
It gets so cheesy, like after a while, innit? You know what I mean?
So in the game, when you upgrade the game, you get an overhead shot of Joel cleaning the gun, fixing it. Is that like a small Easter egg you want to see in the show, or you're like, nah, that's too much?
Too much, bro.
They
For
had
me,
the
it's too much.
workbench in the basement.
I saw
at
that.
Rick.
I
was
did
like,
see that.
I think that might have been the Easter egg that we got.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the whole episode, my wife, you gotta love her. She's just like, screw this. Go back to Bill's
Yeah.
house. Why are we not living in a place with the guns and the hot water? And by the way, why didn't he take the gun? Screw this. Screw the brother. Go back.
Yeah, I bet-
She's
I bet-
not wrong though.
Agreed.
She's
I
a,
have to
Like,
agree.
what was he? He was growing his own plants. He had his own strawberries. Like
Yeah.
she's 100% right. She's not wrong at all. And at that
Every
point,
time
I'd be like,
something
And then-
happened
and
in the
then-
episode, she's
what-
like, why did they leave?
And what was the timeline that they were there, basically untouched for like decades?
well, that's it.
Basically,
Yeah. Because like it was the food was rotten already. You can see the mold that was going on there. It was very, very dusty. So that's actually a good point. They were probably there for a while. Wow, I didn't even think about that.
My
So now-
dad watched the episode 3, and he messaged me and he's like, can't wait to see 4. I'm glad they took the guns. And I was like, yeah, can't wait. And I
That's
was
the
like,
other thing too. It's like he
it's just a random gun rack of like every gun in America, and they left them all there.
and Joel just has his
God.
handgun. I was sitting there too. I was like, oh, you didn't grab a gun. You took a shower, you ate, and that was it. And you got gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. They didn't take any more
I
guns.
tried to
mean,
explain it to her. I was like, Joel is a very prideful guy. He wants to be able to take care of himself. He only takes what he absolutely needs, you know, like even his own gun that he was low on ammo on, he went through the extra effort to go hide it so that he knows where his gun is in case he needs it again. Like he's resourceful in a
Resource
prideful kind of
management.
way, you know, it's weird. And she's like, yeah, pick up the gun. I'm like, yeah, I agree with you. Like, I can't disagree.
so I don't know. We're about to hit 50 minutes now. So I mean, we've pretty much covered everything in the entire episode. It's just now, like we said earlier, this is going to be a 2-parter, which I remember in the game, Philadelphia was pretty long.
Mhm.
That whole process, that whole level was actually pretty long compared to, was it Montana? Whenever they go to the next place, I think it's Montana.
Well, I think they hit.
Oh no, they had the other part. Never mind. Before Montana. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot for where they cut off when we meet Henry and Sam. There's a lot to cover. Obviously, we're not going to get the same thing as the game, but are we going to get crucial parts from the game that needs to happen in the show?
I think
Like-
the crucial outcomes will happen, just like in different ways.
Because
They might fast forward the story.
I don't.
They
I
might-
don't think.
At some point, there's going to have to be a big gap.
Yeah,
There's gonna
because
be
I
some
don't
sort of
think.
visual thing.
I don't
know what I
think.
You're talking
I guess-
specifically Henry and Sam right now, right?
Yeah, I guess we can. Okay, in the video game, there is a level revolving the sewer, right?
Mhm.
I don't think that's gonna happen because based on the preview of the next episode, there was a shot of Joel high up in the dark with a rifle.
And Ellie's not. And then the next shot was Ellie on the ground, meaning not
Yes,
with him. Yeah.
yes, which would mean in the game there's a moment where he's in a rifle and Ellie's on the ground
Mhm.
with a gun.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna skip that entire thing. They're gonna merge. They're gonna remove the sewer, merge that section of the game together with that one episode, and they have to get away.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Sounds-
And
Yeah,
with-
that's going to be interesting to see.
and yeah,
how
and
they're
the
gonna
thing
condense
is,
all that.
yep. And there is something that happens that we find out after that in the game when he's on top of alleged shooting. something does happen. And now we see what's going to happen in the preview. We saw a bloater at the very end of the preview. We saw infected. So the battle that they're going to have between the four of them versus the entire city is going to make some noise.
Yeah, mate.
And because Miss Kathleen, whatever, Miss John, forgot the name because you already said
John Lane.
John Lane, because she didn't lock the door, something's really gonna happen. And the thing too is, when they were driving and they were in the middle of nowhere, and Ellie mentions, she says, "Are there no infected out here?" And he goes, "No, they won't come out here because it's not populated." And we all know that the cordyceps are growing underground, but in a populated area. So now we see the ground moving. That just means they're all either underground, moving underground to get to that point. And once something happens between Henry, Sam, Joel, and Ellie, all that noise is going to
we're gonna
cause
see a
that.
horde for sure, yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
Because she didn't lock the damn door. If you don't lock the door and
You
put
get-
a tent,
yeah.
then you save yourself 15, 20 minutes before they come out.
The split second of the bloater from the trailer is clearly, it's got to be this moment. Like,
Yes.
Yeah, has
Yeah.
to be, bro. Yeah.
So I think all that noise is going to cause them to come. And now we're going to merge from the game, from getting from Philly, remove the sewer. And what happens after is all going to be one
you're
episode.
right, because in the game, sewer and suburb is to get to the radio tower, not where
Yes.
the brother
Yes.
is. But they changed it in the story where the brother is at the radio tower in
Yep.
Cody or whatever.
Yeah.
So you're right, they are going to skip all that. But
But it sucks because the sewer was one of those moments in the game where it's dark. You've got a flashlight.
the
You can
stalker
hear
is not there,
you can hear the stalkers in the background, and that was a moment you're sitting in the game like, okay, every little sound. And if
It was
you're
a
playing,
headphone moment.
when I play, I have headphones
Yeah.
like this. I can't hear what's going around me, so I hear like a crying in the background. It's on my right ear. I'm like, oh shit, okay, and you're using that. You're bent over. You're listening in the game. That was a moment where it gave you that fear. But now that we're at episode 4 and we haven't seen that much infected, again, the main focus is going to be on the danger of humans when the world ends.
Mhm.
So it might. I'm sad. I personally, I think it's the sewer scene's going to be gone. But I'm
They
sad
might
that it's
just change it a tiny bit, man. You knew there'd be a detour, bruv. Like the game
Matt,
is
yo,
huge,
hours.
bro.
That's at least what 2.5 hours,
Oh yeah. There has
right?
to
From
be,
that moment,
right?
yeah. So
All, like
it's
the gameplay stuff, they've just skipped it all, man, and they've just done it main
well, and the
story.
suburb after the sewer, there's a lot of gameplay there, and I'm pretty sure they're skipping it. Yeah.
Oh, one other thing I should have mentioned earlier from episode 3. I just remembered now was Ellie looking through the shelves and she found tampons.
yeah.
And it was like in the game when you're fighting stuff and they're trying to grab stuff. I was like, oh, that was in the game. I don't know why that randomly popped in my head, but I mean, we're 4 episodes in. Me personally, I love the show. I've been a huge fan of the game for many, many years since it came out. 2016, I think it came out. I think they're doing a phenomenal job. Elvis and I discussed this last night. The changes that they've made are really good changes. I personally love the changes. I think
They're well
now,
adapted for TV.
Yeah.
Proper,
Yeah. But now I think I can happily say every episode going in, I hope for something that happened like in the game, but when it flips to something new, I can still say, oh, okay, yeah, I'm happy with that change.
I've never been disappointed yet.
Yeah, so I'm saying, so even though I think, I think the sewer is not going to happen, I hope something similar to sewer happens, even if it's under the city.
You may even get like a
Yeah.
a snippet of it. You may just get like a
Yeah.
couple of minutes of sewer.
Because
you know
because
what I mean?
now they're trying to navigate around Kansas City without getting caught because they're in the attic with where the food was. They're navigating around the city somehow to try and get away. So
They're gonna end up under the city. You're right, dude. That's a good theory.
see,
That would be a way to incorporate the sewer level.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
see. I'm gonna be out of town for work this weekend. So that Friday night, whenever I'm not for work, I'm just gonna be in my hotel room like this, watching it on my phone
Oh no.
on a Friday night. And it sucks, but I'm just probably throw some AirPods on just so I can listen to everything. So, I mean, you guys, we're 4 episodes in. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on 4 episodes in? How do you feel about the future of the next 5 episodes? Semz.
Oh, caught me, bro. I was like thinking, yeah, he'll start with Elvis. Damn it. Yeah, no, it's sick, bro. the show's really sick. And like I said to Elvis about your missus, when I asked her, like, is she enjoying it or is she like clocking out certain things because she doesn't play the games? Like, my judgment is like when my dad watches it, and I watched it with my dad for episode 3, not 4. And when Bill come on, he was like, who the hell is this guy? And then started getting into it. But when he saw that bit where Bill meets Joel and Tez, he's literally like, yeah, that's how things connect. Like, those things, that's how I know, like, for people who have never ever played the games, they don't know nothing, everything's linking nice. So I'm moving forward, like what Chris said, bruv. I have no stress now, man. Like, skip what you want to skip, give us the most important things, rewrite, do some Frankenstein thing, and up down, bro. Like, and just make sure you lock the door, fam, because bloody T-Rex is coming out of the ground. Yeah, just lock it, calm. But yeah, the show's sick, man. The show is oh, to be honest, like, I don't want to say it, yeah, because it will bite me in the arsehole, mate. It's probably some of the best 4 episodes I've seen on telly for season 1, bruv. Like, if you look at Game of Thrones season 1 and this season 1, there's no like thing. Like, there's levels, man. They took this really serious, and yeah, it pays off, man. So, yeah.
Game of Thrones season 1, I fell asleep like 5 times.
Oh, bro.
This one I've been awake.
I'm not even sure I made it through Game of Thrones, to tell you the truth.
I have every season I haven't watched. John, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, where we are in this show so far, 4 episodes in, I'm absolutely loving all the changes that they made. And, you know, the game is still fresh in my head, so I'm constantly... I almost wish I watched the show without the game, because I'm watching the show, and the fact that I just finished the game right before episode 1, some of it is almost feeling like, oh, I've seen this. Oh no, that was in the game, so I haven't seen this. You know what I mean? And then, like, the little comparisons, I feel like I'm comparing too much rather than enjoying the episode, and then I've got to watch the episode again. You know, and I'm like, oh no, this works great. You know what I mean? But I'm really happy where we are in the show so far, and I'm loving that we're getting to a point where the two of their relationship is developing, you know, and that's kind of where I really love the game, was their relationship as the game went on. And we're finally getting, I think, to that point. So I'm really excited to see where it's going to go from here. Even though I know where it's going to go, the changes are making it different enough to now question everything on where it's actually going.
And I
so
think
I'm excited to see where it's going.
And I think that's what's keeping everyone who's played the game is what's keeping everyone watching the show. Yeah. Because even though you know what's going to happen, you're still on your toes because something might change. It's not it might change. Something will change.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, shit. Okay, that didn't happen in the game. Okay, how are they going to go from here? That's the important part.
I was saying, I think I said on the last one, it's almost like watching a full, amazing reboot of a story that you just played.
Yep.
You know, and the reboot is just as good, if not better, than what the original was.
Yeah,
it's true. Elvis?
Yeah, dude, I couldn't agree more. Like, everything that they've changed to adapt this to TV has been perfect. And, you know, me and you are always talking or texting after the show, and we've started to make this comment, well, who knows? They've changed so much. Maybe that won't happen. And it's to the point now where we anticipate but are happily surprised, and that just, it, even though we know what's coming, it's still exciting. And I would totally agree with Semz. This is probably one of the best shows I've ever seen. Like, I really think it's the best thing that's been on TV in a long while. I can't even think of something to compare it to. Like, Game of Thrones doesn't compare to it in my mind. Like, I can't think of something good enough to compare it to so far, but I really like the game, so I'm a fan. So anyway, yeah, no, I love it. I think it's awesome.
Well,
the only other show I've waited for week after week and like sat on the edge of my seat of like, is it Wednesday? Is it Friday? Is it the only other one was the first season of Mandalorian.
Yeah. I don't know. I was like,
it was just one of those exciting times in like Star Wars, I guess, because we really haven't gotten that great material. And it's cool that it's the
Star Wars show ever, right? First live action Star Wars show ever.
First live action television show, and it was done so amazing. And what makes it even better is that the actor is the same.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
so I'm getting
yeah.
that same vibe. You know,
Narcos,
I'm hoping.
Mandalorian, Game
Oh
of Thrones,
man,
he's in it all.
that's and it's funny because you're seeing different. We're seeing different sides of Pedro Pascal,
yeah.
and it's like, man, you can do
And
everything. And
did
then we
you
saw him on
see
Saturday Night Live.
Did you see the one with him and
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage?
I
When
love
Nicolas
that
Cage was
movie.
like,
I own it. So
oh my
good.
god, it's amazing.
I'm a
But you
huge
see
Nicolas
such
Cage fan.
Another side. Yeah, so was I. Yeah. But you see that that other side of Pascal. You know, it's just like he's one of those. And you know, I know Will Smith has got this weird thing since the whole slap thing, but I have always thought that Will Smith is one of the most well-rounded actors in Hollywood. He could literally do everything from comedy to ultra serious, and like Pascal is really like right there, man. He's doing everything across the board. He's doing some comedy stuff. He's doing Star Wars stuff. He's doing this, which is so serious and has a little bit of slap with some of the funny things in it.
Yeah.
You know, and then you watch him in like interviews. The guy is hilarious.
In his own words from the Saturday Night Live monologue, he has range.
Yep. Yeah. I know Elvis. You said next Monday you're not available, right? You'll be out of town, correct?
Yeah, I'm going to Disney World.
Yeah. So next Monday, I'm hoping he's available. He is somebody else I've been chatting with on Instagram and YouTube.
You're
name is
replacing me already?
You're gone, bro.
Well, you're
finished, bro.
I wanted you in here because this is actually for me. This is actually a good opportunity for all of us to hear this. He goes by Star Wars Sith. Okay. Never played the game.
Okay.
But he's watching every episode and he loves every episode. So it's a good opportunity for all of us and anyone who sees this to see what is someone who's never played the game think about the show. Mm-hmm. And he loves it, but I'm trying to take a different perspective of why do you love it so much? We all know why we love it. We all know where the story goes. But for someone who's never played the game, why are you enjoying it so much? And what is it about this show that keeps you coming every weekend? Yeah, you know what I mean? So I'm a little sad you're not going to be here for that, though.
I'll watch.
I'm a little sad about that. But guys, thank you so much for coming through. I mean, you guys are here with me every Monday for an hour. And I just let you guys know I really, really enjoy you guys being here and appreciate you guys being here because I'm literally sitting at home by myself and it's just me and Elvis talking to each other. Like, who the hell are we going to talk about this episode with? So I am really, really happy that you guys take the time to come hang out for a little bit, even though someone wouldn't lock the damn door.
Bruv,
Yeah,
John's dog. Look at John's dog's been sitting here for an hour going, what are you twats talking about, man? Zombies and locking doors.
But I appreciate you guys. Elvis, we'll miss you next Monday. We're going to cover episode 5 next Monday. And I mean, it sucks we can't do it Saturday, but all of us were busy. We'll have things on the weekends. So Monday morning's going to be it. We'll do another one Monday. And if you guys have any parting words to say, you guys have the floor.
Peace.
Bye.
I'm going to go eat breakfast. I'm hungry. But we'll see you guys next week. Thank you for joining you guys. We see you guys next Monday.
Peace.
Bye.